so I'm just going to go, there's a website, it's called teamextremebase.com. Now it just complements everything with Symmetry Financial. So the content in here isn't anything different, isn't a different script, isn't a different way of doing things. It's everything that Symmetry has put together. And so what I've kind of done is taking all of our great leaders, people that have done this for a long time, that's been successful, and putting in one space, one spot that we can be successful as well, like copycatting each other. People like Miranda Martin, John Ziller, Jacob Pogue, the Smith brothers, Ashley Tarr, their resources and combining in one area for all of us. So when you first come in here, Brandon Ellison, Brian Pope, Casey Watkins, if you were there at conference, which I miss, you didn't think that you would miss conference so much now that we don't have it. This is the owners panel, and just welcoming them to the team. Happiness is our choice. We have our core values, with Sarah, what was breaking down what our core values are within the company. 4 keys to a successful week. What do I have to do to be successful? It's right here as I open up the Team Extreme Base. 90-day Madman cycle. Well, what is a 90-day Madman cycle? What do I have to do? What's the 4 cornerstones of success, the levels of leadership, the promotion guides? How do I structure a 90-day Madman cycle? I hear it on some of the conference calls. How do I do it to get to the next level? So that's outlined there. And then an agent hub. Over the years, I've always had agents ask me, or even myself, like, what website was that? Where do I go? What connection is that? Or I've had to send an email to them, and then it's hard for them to place it somewhere and kind of figure out how to go there. So everything's here. You have your Symmetry homepage, your agent login, Symmetry University, the store, the cloud, telesales, your policies, toolkits, conference calls, scheduling, Zoom, your opt, the dialer, iPipeline, the financial fire drill, which is the client financial page, carrier quotes, contact information for the carriers. So if I needed to go in and find out how do I call EMSI? How do I schedule a fully underwritten medical exam, a blood exam? I can go right into the carrier contact, scroll down to the bottom, and it's going to tell me exactly what their phone number is, how I call them, fax them, and schedule that fully underwritten medical exam. Virtual Mentor, Giant, Audible books that, that's one of the main things with Symmetry is self-growth. And then going down here, that's the agent hub, and then onboarding hub. What are all the websites that I can utilize to start growing? ZipRecruiter, Excel, License Coach, NIPR, onboarding, PSI. My mentor would say, go log on to NIPR.com. What do I do there? What is it, right? Or look at your E&O insurance. What is that? Or the agent coaching guides. Where do I find that? So it's all easy access for us right here. Just simply clicking on it, it'll take you right to those websites. Down here, every single day, Monday through Friday, I can open it up and see what's going on. Okay, so Monday I have a national call, a team momentum call, or Tuesday there's the growth call, and then I can look at all the calls are amazing and they're all really important to get on. But if I working part-time and I have another job or kids or schedules, I want to look in here and see what calls are available that I can jump onto. Corporate overviews, phone team, training calls, the orientation that we're on now, everything's in there, and they all have the Zoom links in them as well. Team huddle on Friday, that's the Zoom link, phone training. So instead of waiting for somebody to send something out, oh, here's a text message, get on this, or an agent asking, hey, what's that Zoom for the Friday corporate overview so I can invite people? I can come right here into Zoom, copy and paste it. It brings me right to those corporate overviews. This is a calendar that Giant put out for the company based off of personal growth and building an agency together. So they really lay it out on what's structured for the week, Monday through Friday, well, Monday through Saturday. What should I be doing? You know, how should I be looking at structuring my schedule for the week? Everything's laid out here for you. Again, all the calls that we do throughout the week, all you need to do is click on them. They'll bring you right to the Zoom or the conference call access. Everything's all laid out. When should I be doing my Miracle Morning stuff, checking my business, submitting everything, calling carriers? It gives me a pretty good idea what I should be doing throughout the week. Again, like Sarah said, we're business owners, we're partners. Nobody's going to hold my hand or crack a whip and say, hey, you should be calling the carrier on this day, or you should be looking at your policies, what's going on with it. The carrier wants these satisfactions in place. How do I do it? What day should I be doing it on? It really lays it out for us, and I'm thankful for Giant for doing that for us. But it's here so you can kind of get that visual. All right. Okay, so submitting reports. So you have your client qualification forms. You have your activity reports that you should be sending in to your agency manager and your mentor. This is a quick, fast, simple way. Your client qualification forms, you've set an appointment. You know all their medical and everything, and now I'm going to send it over to my mentor. Before I send it over to my mentor, though, I might look at Virtual Mentor and see what it is that I need to do, or I might want to give a carrier a call. I have all that information. In here, it's going to ask, it'll say, choose your mentor. It'll say Joe. Choose your mentor's email. It's going to ask you the client qualifications, their birth dates, mortgage amounts, mortgage payments, so forth, and all their medical history. Then it's going to ask you a question. What did you find in Virtual Mentor? What did you find when you called one of the carriers? So now when I send it over to my mentor, it's a whole different conversation. It's not my mentor advising me which products I should be helping my clients with. It's my mentor saying, hey, okay, you found this. This sounds about right. You called a couple of carriers. I think this would be a great product, and it's a whole different conversation. And now you're both on the same level with everything. So it's a tool to help you grow. Your activity tracker is the same way. Agent name, email, so forth, agent manager. In there, it's going to ask questions, how many calls that you've made, how many appointments that you set, why do you want to put those goals in place. Then you send it over to your agency manager, your mentor, so that you guys can be on the same page. And if you're doing 60 dials a week or 40 dials a week, then it's easier for them to know, oh, hey, we need to work on this. Or if you're doing 300 dials a week and you're having these many contacts, but only 2 or 3 appointments, then it gives us a direction and know how to help people. If you don't know your numbers and you don't send anything over, then your agency manager, agency owner, mentor doesn't know how to help you and guide and direct you. So those are in place as well. Game planning. This is one of my absolute favorite places to go to. And I'll always have agents asking me, so how many leads do I need to purchase? Or what do I need to do? Where do I need to go? How do I create a business plan of action? So you and your mentor, person that invited you to the call today, can go over with you in a game planning session. You can set your goals, create a plan, make a commitment, accountability. And that's what Team Extreme really is a big accountability partnership with helping each other get to the next level. Setting a goal. These are all of your basic advancements, timelines. It's all updated, 70% all the way to 120%. What do I have to do? What's my timeline? What's the normal timeline to get there? I want to be at 95% in 10 months. 12 months is 100%. So I can really set my goals and say, okay, I'm going to do a Madman cycle for 3 months. I'm going to start at 70%. In 3 months, I should be at about 80% or 85%. And in that 6-month period, hitting team leader and hitting key leader, and then going into my agency ownership. So I can really lay that out. Kind of breaks down what part-time and full-time and agency owner income looks like. And then in here, my favorite part about this is I can come in and say, okay, I'm at 70% commission when I start. For my income to support me and my family, I need to make, let's just say $6,000 a month. So I just key in those two things, 70% and 6,000. It's going to populate based off of bonus leads, you know, your 2A and your 3A leads, exactly what I need to do, how many leads I need to get for the week, how many dials that I need to make. So I'm not like, oh, I can get that many appointments on just doing 150 dials. Well, now I know exactly what I need to do. 337 dials, 60 contacts per week, 11 appointments per week, number of appointments per month. And it really breaks everything down, how much APV I need to submit for the week and for the month, and how much I need to get issued over 11,000 to get that $6,000 of income that I'm looking for. And then from there, over here on the side, I can do this together with my mentor, or I can do it individually, just come in anytime, go to the game planning review, hit the next button here, and it's going to open up my agency name, agency email, agency manager, and it's going to come through and ask, well, you know, I'm just going to fill this out really quick so I can kind of give you guys an idea here. All right, so agency, let's say Ann, and then there is Ann's email there. And so now, as I'm finishing filling everything out, it's going to email Ann, my mentor, all the information that I'm putting in here, but it's also going to send me a copy. So now I say, okay, I'm going to hit number of dials, 337 this week, number of contacts. I can just copy everything off of here, fill it all in, and then at the bottom, it's going to ask, what's your why? Why do you want to hit these goals? Why is this commitment important to you? You want the income for your family, paying off a house. You know, why is this important to you? So you know what your why is. So you and your mentor can have that why. And I've utilized that, and you know, people have made like 80 dials or 90 dials. And I said, well, you know, your why is to help your family get this and to do this. Making 80 dials a week, that's going to be pretty tough to do, right? So that you and your mentor know exactly what each other's goals are. Okay. I love the game planning sessions there. It makes it really effective and easy to use. All right, so the next section, the Producers Academy. Producers Academy goes hand in hand with Symmetry Life, sfglife.com. So every single day, I can come into both of them, spend an hour or a couple hours here and there, and they complement each other. So let's just start off. There's the Production Academy. So in here, it's going to talk about leads, phone training, appointment prep, in-home, and after the sale. So there's leads here, phone training, appointment prep, presentations after the sale. And then there's also some Spanish resources. There's an opt video in there in Spanish. There's a virtual mentor video in there in Spanish. And there's a couple of scripts that have been translated in Spanish. We're still working on getting as much Spanish resources as we can together. Okay, so if I click here on leads, and I'm just going to walk us through really quick just to kind of give you guys a really good idea of what it looks like. Example of lead types: mortgage protection, final expense, annuities, direct mail, call-in, internet, and debt-free life. Here it's going to give us a breakdown on the conversions. So if I'm working, let's say I got 3A leads, well, I know I'm only going to get one appointment out of every 7 to 8 contacts. So if I'm making dials, now I know what my expectations are. Now if I'm doing like 15 calls and I've only gotten 1 or 2 appointments and I made 7 or 8 contacts, well, my numbers are right on spot. And so that helps me build confidence to know exactly where I'm at, rather than just making the dials and kind of just trying to figure out where I'm at and thinking that I'm not doing too well. These are the company's averages based off of the type of leads that you get. Lead levels, you know, the prices, they've all changed, so I'm going to update that. How I should be contacting my mentor every 5 contacts. The reason that is if there's something that happened during the calls, an objection, something I couldn't overcome, if I contact my mentor, I know they're going to be able to help me on how to overcome those objections for the next couple of dials. So it's really important in the beginning to make sure that you have that contact with your mentor I'd say every 3 to 5 contacts while you're making dials, and then filling out your activity reports and getting them over to them. This is an example of a lead, kind of what it's going to look like in the beginning. How to order leads. There's 2 videos here, how to order leads and how to print leads. And then there's your lead training response. So filling these out sends it over to you and your mentor to let you know that you've completed this section, but there's also things inside of the forms, little things of extra training, different videos in there. So make sure you fill those out and then get them over to your mentors as well. The next course, phone training. Recommended call schedules, so you know kind of where you're going there. Complete all videos and all segments here. How to set appointments. This is with Miranda Martin and John Ziller. Is it John Ziller? I don't know if it's John Ziller. It might be somebody else, but it's the part 1, 2, 3, and 4 that they put together on how to make dials. These are links to the scripts, final expense call-in scripts, best system. A lead resolution. This is a video from Elazar Santos that talks about how to complete your leads, not just dialing to dialing, but getting resolution. If somebody doesn't answer the phone, well, what do I do now? I can't get them on the phone. If we go through and watch this video, it teaches us how to get resolution from all the leads that we're working with. Client qualification forms, activity reports, you can click on those. Basically what it does is it pops out a new window, loads up the qualification form, and then I can print it, download it, have available on my side when I'm actually making calls. Sarah Pappas, Overcoming Objections. It has her making live dials. It also has here role-playing back and forth with Mike Pappas on how to overcome objections. Managing objections, I can print this and have it by my side. Working older leads with Casey Watkins, how to call on older leads. And then the power dial information. How do I set up the power dial? Video from Matt Smith that talks to us about setting up the power dialer, exporting leads and uploading them into the power dialer. And then phone training, the response here also has videos in there, some more I think it was 5 minutes, 7 minutes, 6-minute videos of Miranda and Sarah Pappas making calls. So make sure you go in there. It's kind of like a short quiz. Also, it lets your mentor and you have those responses so that you know how far you've gone through the Producers Academy. Next course would be appointment prep. Okay, I have an appointment. What do I do now? Right. So once I make that appointment, and I would suggest you make all your appointments and then you come to this step. If you make an appointment, then you're on the dials and you have that momentum. If we stop and like, okay, I've got to get this appointment ready. Well, the appointment isn't for another 48 hours or 24 hours. I want to keep dialing, getting all my appointments together, and then come to my appointment prep. The virtual mentor, consult your upline, and risk assessments. And how do I do that? Here's my virtual mentor tour. What it's going to give me: agent guides, build charts, videos, quoting tools, links to applications, underwriting, and phone numbers. Getting quotes through the virtual mentor tells me, how do I get a quote? Where do I go? Risk assessments. I can click on this link and it's going to bring me to the carriers. It's going to let me know, okay, here's how I call American Amicable. Here's how I log into their website. Here's their fax number to call underwriting and get an underwriter on the line so I can do a risk assessment. Same thing, appointment prep responses. And there's going to be other little videos and mini trainings throughout each one of these here. Next topic is paper applications. You know, in the beginning, I might have to write some paper applications before I get contracted with the carriers. Well, how do I do that? Well, here's some videos that are going to tell us from Nate Offert, Matt Smith, Brad Smith, Colby Seltzer, that are going through it and letting us know, well, what is an application? How do I write an e-app? How do I do an e-signature? How do I finish an app? So as I'm going through it, access to iGo e-apps. how do I get to American Amicable Sites? I can click on here, Mutual of Omaha, and it's going to give me the access directly to the e-applications. And what do I need to do there? Appointment prep responses, same thing there. Next topic, presentations. So this is one of my favorite things. Miranda Martin and John Ziller, they really break it down on how to prepare for your why. What's a why? Why am I doing cemetery for me, but also why am I helping families? How do I find my why? How do I elaborate on my why? How do I bring across my why as emotional to families? I used to just think, well, you know what? My dad passed away when I was 3 years old. I'm out here helping families simply because, the military paid for his funeral and gave my mom about $10,000. We moved in with my grandparents. My grandparents had mortgage protection that paid off the home. And that's why I'm out here helping people to pay it forward. I used to, use that, and I thought that was really powerful. But as I'm listening to Miranda and John, I'll still say that exact same thing. But I'll say, you know what? It was really difficult growing up without my dad. And I'm so very thankful for my grandparents putting mortgage protection in the home because it did pay it off. But I can't, you know what? It would have been so much harder without the mortgage protection. We could have been living on the streets. We could have had a really hard time with just a single mom with a single income. We didn't have a lot of things when growing up, and really elaborate and bring that emotion out. And what that does is it allows your clients to bring their emotion out too. When you're asking them, well, why am I here today? What's the purpose? Or getting into Nicole's baseball, which I absolutely love, which we'll talk about in the future as well, and implementing the baseball system into the Producers Academy. Okay, the moving forward has direct connects to SFG Life telesales, which Sarah went over brilliantly. Downloading the virtual carrier guides, all of these are the same links that are in SFG Life. It brings you directly to there. Some of the do's and don'ts on virtual calls, Miranda Martin getting virtual appointments, Cicely and Gino Locker, which was one of my favorite ones in the telesales that really breaks down on how to do the tie down when you're making a telesale or a virtual appointment. Simply amazing. It's helped boost my sales and our teams as well. Some of the best practices there, you can click on that. Has a forms that you can print out as well. This one here was a Zoom mock call that myself and Joe and Sarah G put together of doing a Zoom, we call it a mock appointment, going from the beginning to the end. Thanks, Joe. Let's see here. And then this, once I've gone through all this and I've done some of the telesale training, well, I can actually stay on this page and I can start filling in. This is the PowerPoint presentation on the Zoom. I can kind of scroll down and get some ideas here. And, as I scroll down, the needs analysis, understanding concerns. Well, this section here, this is the financial fire drill Cicely and Eris put together that's combined together. So if I wanted to do a Zoom appointment and practice, doing my own mortgage protection policy, kind of like what Sarah was saying. People ask, well, who did you go through? Well, what did you do? Well, now I can do the presentation on myself. I can put, I don't have any funeral expenses. My mortgage balance is $300,000. My payments are, $1,500 a month. Yeah, sorry. And I can go through here and it's going to populate everything for me. My credit card balances, my auto loans, my personal loans, my monthly expenses, my income, 401k, my work insurance, long-term disabilities. What do I have going on? And then I can get used to using it so that when I do a Zoom session with a family, I have this. And we're working on implementing, like I said, Nicole's baseball to this as well, so we can have it all one presentation for the families that we're working with. Down here, it's going to give me a pie chart based off of what's my mortgage balance, the total assets, and the existing coverages. How much coverage do we need for the family to pay off the mortgage? It's the exact financial fire drill that Cistine Ayers goes through. It's just put in formula format so that we can easily calculate what families actually need. Same PowerPoint as what's left from Cemetree Financial, knowing your options. This is the cake presentation. We can pick which ones are the most important to us. I think the baseball will be right in this area somewhere here. Home equity, if I put, okay, the house is worth 400,000, it's going to, well, that's 40, sorry, automatically calculate on what the equity is, how much equity is going to be the growth in the next 5 years at 20%, how much they've paid down, what the possible future equity is, and why we want to protect the equity. Why is that so important? So the bank doesn't foreclose on the house and take the home. And then helping them select their plan. Everything populates here, full mortgage payoff, half mortgage payoff, partial payoff. So now you know exactly what to do with your calculations, and you're putting in short-term, return of premium, critical there. So you get kind of familiar with how that's going to work, and if it's something you want to utilize in your own Zoom calls or in your own telesales, online applications. So it's pretty much, it's set up just exactly how Cemetree sent us over the PowerPoints. And it's something that they're working on in the future and integrating everything into a universal system for the whole company in the future. All right, examples of home presentations: mortgage payoff, critical period, cash accumulation, and final expense. And guys, I realize I'm going a little bit fast through everything, and Joe's answering a lot of questions. I really thank him for doing that. Continue to ask questions and Joe will fill them as we go. All right, mortgage payoff, next section here, in-home presentations. Miranda Martin and John Ziller breaking down how to do an in-home presentation. What are some of the gold nuggets? What are some of the things they want to ask? I was just watching it myself the other day, and in the fire drill it asks how much is somebody making a month. Well, as I listened to that, that was one of the things John Ziller said. Don't ask them how much they're making a month, but ask them, if you didn't come home tomorrow, how much of your income isn't going to be in your bank account? Whoa, like that's huge. That's a huge gold nugget, because now there's the emotion and it hits home powerful, and it sends that message to the clients that what we're doing is extremely important. All right, Ashley Tarr's in-home presentation. I've listened to this, I don't know, way over 100 times. It's something you can listen to over and over. There's Cicely and Ayers fire drill when they first presented it. This right here is, agents ask me, hey, can I come with you on a ride along? Can I sit down in the home with you? Can I be a hidden person on a Zoom with you? Can you do the presentation and I'll fill out the application? Well, that's all great and everything, but it's not as effective. Well, Nate Offer put together an in-house presentation where he actually records everything from going, you can hear his keys jingling and he's saying, I'm going to my first appointment. He goes into the house and it does an appointment from the beginning all the way to the end. It's pretty long. It's about an hour and 30 minutes, but there's probably about, I'd say 7 or 8 different objections the family did that he had to overcome. So it puts you right into the living room with the family. Here's another one here that Gus Valagri and Sean Pierce put together, where they're role playing on how to do an in-house appointment. And even though we're doing a lot of virtual and a lot of telesales, we can still take the mortgage protection in-home presentation, all the gold nuggets, and still implement them into our Zoom and virtual appointments. The financial fire drill forms, the home equity forms, the mortgage protection quotes, the 5 R's, everything's there for us to print up and have. A critical period concept. This is again Miranda Martin and John Ziller breaking down what is the critical period, what's the old version versus the new version. I don't know if some of us have heard that when you have your objections, you're on the phone and they ask, do you have the new version of mortgage protection or do you have the old version? Well, here they break down what is the new and what is the old and what's the difference, so that we can use that for our clients as well. There's also one that's coming that has a whiteboard that's going to break down the critical period and what that means for clients versus the mortgage protection. Also the critical scripts, fire drills, home equity, quotes, all that's there for us. Cash accumulation, there's a video that I'm going to be putting up here in the next couple of days that breaks down how does the cash accumulation on the final expense. It's basically a whole life policy. Well, why is it beneficial and how it helps families? Has Ben Miller, final expense, breaking that down. And then after the sell, now I got to sell. Woohoo, amazing, congratulations. Well, what do I do? Well, I have to scrub the application, either scan it if it's a paper app, submit it, record it. I have to look at pending business, policy receipts, and then how do I get paid? Well, that's the exciting part, right? Then how am I going to get referrals, annuities? So it's going to have step 1, step 2, and step 3. So step 1, submitting an application. So do I scrub it? Do I scan it? Do I need to upload it? Here's videos on how to do an e-app with American Amicable. Right here, if I want to know how, I haven't been contracted with American Amicable yet. I want to write them, but I have to write an e-app in the beginning. So how do I do that? Well, here's an example of an e-app that's completely, fully written out. So if I wrote an e-app in the home, I can compare it and say, oh, I missed this. I need to fill that in. Everything's step by step, letting you know how do you do a paper app right in the very beginning. What are the things do I need to have on the application? Whoops, I gotta move this over. Okay, the same thing goes with Mutual of Omaha. There's their paper app there that I can look at. There's how to fill out an e-application there, UHL, e-application, their paper applications, how to fill them out, Americo. National Group, this one, I wish we'd have had this when I was first started, because National Life's application is about 40 pages long. And sometimes it's confusing. What do I fill in? What do I do? Here's a video on how to do the e-app, but here is an outline. If I'm doing a paper app and that's how I'm going to get contracted with them in the beginning, well, this step walks me through step by step, whether it's a term or an IUL, and all the areas that I need to have filled out for that IUL or for that term product with National. The same thing with Foresters. Foresters, I couldn't find a paper application outline, but they have the video here on how to do their e-applications as well. Transamerica doesn't have a video on how to do their e-apps, but they do on term, the paper applications examples here. Now, a lot of agents are like, well, if I do a paper app, how do I scan it? I don't have a scanner. Well, there are apps that you can actually download on an Android or an iPhone that you can actually scan the application into your phone and then upload it into Opt. And here's a short 5-minute video that's going to explain exactly how to upload everything into Opt. Next section, getting business issued. How do I, submit submitting policy receipts? How do I check the carriers? This video by Brad Smith is going to walk you through on how do I look at American Amicable, Mutual of Omaha, and Transamerica to give me a good idea. Where do I go to look at my pending business? What sections on the carriers do I look at to find out what's their requirements? What business, if they received the application, is it processing? Usually on every Wednesday morning is when I'd recommend to do that, to look into the carriers and find out if it's being processed and what the requirements are. But this video will give you an idea where to go. Getting paid. What's the final step? This is a recording by Nate Offord that talks about setting the expectations, avoiding declines, getting paid, and tracking your business. And then the final part is policies and delivering. Referrals, retirement, replacement, rugrats, and recruits. It's all listed here on how to do that. One of the most amazing experiences that I had this week was implementing Nicole's baseball. In one of my appointments, I was able to do 2 applications in under 35 minutes. It was amazing. But that baseball, without breaking it down, because I'm going to allow Nicole to do that, it made me remember things. Okay, first base is this, second base is this, third base is this, the dugout's here. Oh, kids. Oh, okay, so we're going to talk about the Rugrats, because that was the bleachers. Oh, retirement. Well, the outfield, debt-free life or the retirements, referrals. Who else do you want to have play baseball with you? Who else is, so really painted a picture and put it in place. So I'm excited to have that part here on the Producers Academy as well. So overall, that's the gist of it. There's going to be things as I go to add things. As you've seen, some of the forms aren't completely finished for each section. They will be. It's still a work in progress, and add things. And we're always open if there's something that you want to see in the Producers Academy or on Team Extreme. Most definitely, reach out to me, your upline. Let them know what you want to have on there, and we'll make sure that it gets in there for us. Or if you feel like there's too much in here, we need to take it out as well. As you're building and you want to have your team have certain things on here, absolutely. It's an open format to help each other grow. All right. So with all that being said, the coming in the future, there's going to be a hiring academy section as well that we can go through. My final recommendation would be not to have an agent go through from the very beginning all the way to the end. Unless you've been here for a couple months and you want to brush up, great. That's fantastic. When a new person is coming on board, we probably want to do one section at a time. Helping them get leads. Okay, go into the Producers Academy, finish this section, get on a call, look at your leads. Now you're on the same page. Now it doesn't take, 30, 40, 50 minutes or an hour to help each other figure out what's the best leads to get. Because we've gone through that training section. Now we figured out leads. Now after that, we're going to be looking at getting on the phones. Okay, now let's do this section and we're going to get on the phones. Well, I have some appointments. Now I'm going to do the appointment section and then get together with my mentor. So the bottom line would be doing each section as a time as you grow. So you're not overwhelmed and it's not a lot of information all at once. You want to control how much you're bringing in and how much your retention is to help your growth for the future.